Shalom, shalom to the 144,000, the elect. Before I get started, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rokah Qudash, the one to the apostle nails great millstone. Peace and blessing to the brother that preach the truth in the four winds of the earth. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, have mercy upon you. All right, her page, what's her name? She didn't got her name. Her name, her page is I've Had It, right? And the lady got over 1 million some subscribers, right? Say Trump faces major disaster as GOP colonial admits Bibi ready to launch nukes. And you know, it's not my first time hearing this right here, right? Because I think I heard this in about, but it was a different scenario concerning it, right? The first scenario concerning Bibi ready to launch nukes, which is Benjamin not a Jew. In other words, he was telling Trump to let me remember the narrative. He was telling Trump, this was right before they went into Iran, that he was telling Trump to raid Iran to bomb them, because he said if he don't, he's getting ready to use nuclear weapons. Yep. I actually saw 2 videos. I think one of them was Scott Ritter, and what that colonel name? It was two separate people I heard talk about it. I just never said anything about it because, hey, I just kept it on the wraps. But now I see this lady here. This is the third time that I've seen where, or should I say, someone that's on the social media that's talking about Bibi getting ready to what? To launch nukes. Listen up.
Not going to be an option, and so they're looking for off-ramps, or are they? We know Donald Trump is looking for an off-ramp, but what about Bibi? And I have some stunning analysis from a retired U.S. Army Colonel, Lawrence Wilkerson. You will not want to miss this. Listen to this.
I come from an administration of George W. Bush and Richard Bruce Cheney that committed war crimes that Colin Powell and his lawyer Will Taft and I agonized over in trying to present some message to the American people about them. This administration has committed more war crimes in the last few days than I think any country since Adolf Hitler committed. And that is an incredible condemnation of this entire process. We have bombed civilians relentlessly. We have bombed a school. We have bombed a hospital. We have struck facilities in the nature of Iran's oil capacity that is now putting black poison all over 10+ million people.
So this guy worked under the George W. Bush administration, the neocons. This guy is a colonel. This guy has insight and a mindset as to why the Pentagon and the Joint Chiefs advised Trump not to do this. But Trump wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen to them. As always, he listens to other people other than American intelligence. Continue on.
So this is a war with long legs. Trump has completely misinterpreted it. The only one who's interpreted it correctly is Bibi Netanyahu, and I think he's ready to use a nuclear weapon should it become as bad as it looks like it might right now, because Iran has not.
Okay. You heard it right there. Trump.
Because they have not what? Have not let up. And this was just not long ago right here. Iran, let me click on it. I'm going to come back to this right here. Iran launches new attack on commercial ships. World leaders agree to what? To record release of all reserves. we're gonna every 3 minutes we're gonna watch this right here, and not only I'm gonna go to the next video. Let's just watch this right here, right here. I wanted to go to this other video here where it say Iran, because that's the reason I'm not going to this one first because it's a little longer than this one right here. But the next one I'm gonna play is Iran to inflict maximum pain on what? On Israel and U.S. Because they're not only saying that they're going to attack, continue to attack Israel alone, which is, Jerusalem, but they said they're going to hit, going to attack America as well. So, listen up. Let me turn this up a little bit.
It's in the war with Iran, and ABC News has learned that the FBI recently warned law enforcement that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at California. Meanwhile,
Good Lord, y'all bear with me. Hold up for a second. This damn thing won't do it. They actually, hold on, let me try this again. Okay. Now let's start it over. I could have sworn that they controlling this shit here. I'm looking at it, I'm like, they ain't going down by itself. Here we go.
war with Iran, and ABC News has learned that the FBI recently warned law enforcement that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at California. Meanwhile, world leaders agree to the largest ever release of oil reserves as the war in Iran hits.
Y'all hear that? Let's play that back.
Warned law enforcement that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at California. Meanwhile, world leaders agree to the largest ever release of oil reserves as the war in Iran hits the global economy.
Let me say this here. Whether it's true concerning Iran, saying that they trying to launch them at California, but we know that these people, we say the U.S. and Israel, they are what? They are what's the word I'm looking for? They don't mind using the American people, with the leading American people, to make a point for what, for a purpose, and that purpose is to what? They're always trying to regain. I'm lost in words again. They always trying to regain sorrow, from the people, the public, by what? Okay, Iran wants to do this here, and then they want everybody to be on the same page. But these people been doing it so long and been getting away with it, and now the world is aware of their strategy, and they are aware that U.S. and Israel would do what? Would strike their own people and delete their own people just to prove a point. This is what they do. This is what America and Israel is capable of doing. Just to say Iran did it.
New strikes targeting commercial ships in the region. Iran claims that it hit 3 ships near that Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. says its forces destroyed 16 mine-laying ships in a vital waterway where about a fifth of the world's supply passes. Prices at the pump jumped again today in our area, hovering around $3.50 a gallon. That's according to AAA. Right now, President Trump is in Kentucky visiting a packaging company. He's giving a speech right now focused on affordability. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg here now with the latest on the escalating strikes in the Middle East. Lauren?
Well, Mike, U.S. Central Command reported that American forces have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran since the war started, and yesterday targets were hit nearly every hour. And while that is happening in the Middle East, federal authorities are on high alert here at home in the U.S., following a warning that the war with Iran could reach American shores. An FBI alert reviewed by ABC News has been sent to police departments across California, warning that Tehran may be planning a surprise retaliatory strike using offensive drones launched from vessels off the West Coast. The president appeared unfazed by the reports when questioned today.
Are you concerned about a domestic terrorist?
Meanwhile, Central Command released new footage today of strikes against 16 Iranian vessels capable of laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. The president claims the offensive is effectively neutralizing the Iranian fleet.
Look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60.
But Iran has caused chaos in one of the world's most important shipping corridors.
That's why they hit that ship. See, they think they keep asking for peace, and requesting for peace, and to stop bombing Tel Aviv and the parts of Israel, but they keep what? They keep firing on them. Boy, hypocrites! Boy, I ever seen them, ever heard of hypocrites? This is what they are.
A Thai cargo ship was hit by a projectile and left burning, one of 3 ships targeted in the Strait of Hormuz, and it's a direct hit to the global economy as 20% of the world's oil supply travels through this narrow waterway, a flow that has now been largely halted. And that's being felt at the gas pump. According to AAA, gas prices have surged by an average of 27 cents per gallon nationwide. Local leaders moving to provide relief. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont considering a gas tax holiday.
If you're doing, 20 gallons a week, that would maybe save you $5. And you do that over a month, that saves you $20.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul wants a federal excise tax break.
Do they not know that price would go up if you can't bring 20% of the world's oil through the Straits of Hormuz when you're at war with Iran? Do they not know that?
And this afternoon, during a visit to a biotech company in Ohio, the president said the stock market and oil prices will get back on track.
Oil will be coming down. That's just a matter of war. That happens you can almost predict it. I would say it went up a little bit less than we thought. It's going to come down more than anybody understands.
And the International Energy Agency is hoping to ease the oil and gas situation by releasing 400 million gallons of its oil reserves to help its 32 member nations, which includes the U.S., Canada, Australia, and much of Europe. President Trump also this afternoon saying that he would tap into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Make it up as you go. Let's go here, y'all. Iran to inflict. Hold on, let me get the video. Hold on, let me pause it for a minute. Catch up here.
You spend most of your workday in emails.
Yeah, bear with me.
To launch attacks, and they had a predetermined bank.
Damn, boy. Getting harder and harder to control this mess. He said Iran to. Damn, man. Iran to inflict maximum pain on Israel and U.S. Hold on. They paused it. But then when I turn the volume down, they stopped my video. Look at them. Just pausing like hell. Y'all bear with me. There we go.
In Israel on Iran, but on the other side, the Gulf states and Israel are facing increasingly difficult nights as well. We're getting very little footage, either from phones or from news broadcasts, as Israel and the Gulf states are clamping down on the ability of the public or the media to share what's going on. But we did get an interesting kind of clip through Fox News that kind of gives you an indication of both of those elements. Let's roll this one.
We have sirens in Tel Aviv. Let's go back to correspondent Nate Foy, who is on the ground there. Hi, Nate.
Hey, Martha. So, yeah, as you can hear, the sirens are going off here in Tel Aviv, something that we've seen several times throughout the entire day. And what we could see here momentarily are interceptor missiles fired off. We have seen it right over my shoulder several different times. Again, Iran continues to show an offensive capability, launching missiles at central Israel. We have one interceptor over my shoulder right now. We can't show you because we can't show landmarks, Martha. But something that has really changed here over the past couple days is
we can only show you this little area where we're in that has not blown up. We can't show you all of the building land now. We just show these little few buildings back here in the back that Iran haven't hit. These people so full of shit here, man. It's ridiculous.
Use of these cluster munitions by Iran, where the warhead breaks up into several different bomblets, and that's really important because not only does it spread the damage, but it makes it more difficult to defend against.
Joining us now is my colleague over at Drop Site, Jeremy Scahill. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to play the role of Tim Dillon in this segment.
Yes, Jeremy and I were on Tim Dillon. Do not miss that. There are a lot of jokes we can make about that. We're just going to skip those. So I want to put up this article that you wrote with Maz yesterday. The headline here: Trump might want to end the war. Iran won't do it on his terms. So what are you guys hearing from Iranian officials about the overtures, whether they actually exist from the United States, and how Iranian officials are feeling about kind of re-engaging them?
Well, I mean, first on this issue of negotiations or talk of a ceasefire, my understanding from speaking to senior Iranian officials is that there have been periodic periods of outreach from third countries to Iran asking about the possibility of a resumption of negotiations, and the Iranians have rejected those. The United States, Trump and other officials have said, the Iranians are desperate to talk to us. They want this to end. Iran is saying that's a total lie. And that, in fact, it seems to be the United States that, through intermediaries, is trying to gauge Iran's interest. You see, what we're engaged in here, or what we're watching, is asymmetric warfare. You have a much more powerful...
That's what I wanted to get, right? That he said that they're lying, right? They won't stop. Iran is not stopping the war. They still bombing. They're going to continue to bomb them. This is why, let's go back over here. I'm going to come back over here too, right? But let's come back over here, right? Well, this young lady right here, right? I've had it, right? China. Trump faces major disaster as GOP colonial admits Bibi ready to launch nukes. Now listen to her. Then we're going to go back over there.
Has completely miscalculated this. And Bibi Netanyahu, he has wanted this for 40 years. This is a bizarre obsession. And Israel has nukes. And Israel has a media blackout of how bad everything is getting hit over there. And this is where we have the weakest American president that has been idiotic enough to take the advice of a war criminal. But think about it. This is Trump's peer. Trump is a war criminal. Bombing Gaza, bombing Iran, schools. He doesn't care. So Benjamin Netanyahu, remember when Trump pulled the chair out for him? Just complete American weakness to a war criminal. If we were a country with moral clarity, when Benjamin Netanyahu touched ground here, he would be wearing bracelets and he would be turned over to the ICC. And I think this guy is spot on. This is Colin Powell's former chief of staff. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Who you think keeping them Epstein files and stuff to not being put showing up out front with Trump? They got many. They got unlimited pictures and photos and of Trump doing sick things to children. So it's nothing. And they're not the only one. All these actors, stars, you name it, they all been filmed. They got all of them, and they definitely got presidents. All of the presidents, the you name it, probably all down to the governor, probably all down to the mayors. Anyone that's what is in that part of this devil's system, they have what? There's a great chance that they have what? Proof of them doing something sick.
This is what the Pentagon warned the United States about. And Benjamin Netanyahu, more than likely, he knows the ground troops, what a disaster that's going to be. And Israel has nukes. So remember how crazy that is. So we have smart people in this country The president simply doesn't listen to them. Instead, he listens to a real estate guy named Steve Witkoff, who, with Lindsey Graham and with Benjamin Netanyahu and Jared Kushner, all tag teamed the guy whose brain is totally cooked and convinced him to go to war with Iran. Global markets, complete catastrophe. All of our allies in the region hate our guts now. And here's Steve Witkoff on TV just yesterday. Play the clip.
How do you see this ending, this war?
I don't know, Sarah. I know this, that President Trump is the wrong guy to go up against. That's what I know.
Are you kidding me? That guy. How are you going to? He doesn't know. He has no idea. This is insane. It is utterly insane. You heard retired Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson. The Army, the military, the Pentagon is full of people that understand the geopolitical problems and tactical issues and long-term implications of doing this shit, who understand the culture. Steve Witkoff, he doesn't know. He doesn't care. Steve Witkoff is the guy whose sons are making billions.
I bet we'll skip a level. Trying to get to the most important.
And the Israeli psychosis that this man has is so bizarre. It's so weird. So here's Lindsey broke back mountaining his love for Israel. Play the clip.
All the anti-Semites to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for.
Okay. Number one, I think he's...
Yeah, they all would. They all been to the island. They're not going to turn on Bibi, man. They're not going to turn on him because he got too much wickedness with them all. They're not going to turn on him.
Hammered. I think he's completely drunk. I think that is a drunk person.
But know this that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord is orchestrating this whole entire thing until what? Until their end. So it does not matter whether they want to do it or don't want to do it. Either way, whether they don't want to do it, they're going to do it anyway. Because they're going this script here has already been written biblically
on TV. All right, first, right out of the gates, you heard it. Number two, what is he talking about? The thing is, okay, we have allies right now, and Israel was our ally. And then when you start realizing that Israel is committing a genocide, of course, we gave them the blank check for it, but also that they keep electing a fascist, right-wing, hard-right criminal as their prime minister, that's when you get to go, oh, we need to rethink this partnership. We don't think our values are aligned with theirs anymore.
I didn't watch this, y'all. I'm trying to get to the point concerning the Nuke. I don't know if she gonna okay, let's get right here. Concerning the Nuke, y'all. But we know they ain't finna do it at this present moment, right? But hey, that's the end result. We know it's the end result. Nukes.
Allies step up, get our air bases out of Spain. They're not reliable. Move all those airplanes to a country that would let us use them when we're threatened by a regime like Iran. To our friends in Spain, man, you've lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases.
I'm sure they're crying.
But guess what? Let me show you something. Right? Let me show you something. He said, get all of our planes and stuff out of them people. Them Arabs are already look at this here. He said, get all of our planes and stuff out of there. No, they've already, look, here you go right here. What they say, we will delete you, and fuck it. We will kill Americans with American weapons. Says what? Afghan Taliban officials. And listen, this guy right here, he say what? He say, since, so we are not, I'm over here in the comments. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm over here in the comments. I'm reading the comments over here, right? And the guy said that a list of what they got, what they have belong to, follow, let's see. Y'all bear with me right quick. What they got a list of, right? Because they say they left billions of equipment. Okay, let's see something here. Here we go. This guy, Adam Cox, say, I was in an M1117 ASV doing the invasion of Iraq. He said, I saw them being used in Afghanistan to great effect. The thing is, without proper and constant maintenance, it's a 30,000-pound paperweight. So he talking about all the vehicles. See all the vehicles and stuff they got? This is just a portion of what they left over there in the so-called Middle East. This guy had a list of it. Y'all bear with me right here. Let's see. The U.S. when they are all a bunch of semi-organized. Hold up, y'all. Damn. I'm trying to find that. What the guy said that they had. U.S. Okay, here we go. This guy Johnny, he said, I was wondering how the pilot of the abandoned U.S. helicopter is doing. No, it's a training commission. No, hold up, y'all. Okay, here we go. Ben says, I didn't realize that they had F-35s and B-2s and mother freaking ships with laser beams attached to the freaking hull, laughing my ass off. Damn, man, it was the guy made what's it on this here? Y'all bear with me. He had a list of the equipment. Cause it said it was 7 billion plus of equipment from planes to jets to all type of equipment outside of these. They got their own stuff. So they say they're gonna delete them with their own. I didn't come this far. I know I didn't go this far. I didn't go this far, y'all. Let me go back up. Let me go back up right quick. Let me go back up. Okay. The Taliban responding to what the Secretary of State Rubio, you have brought us to our knees once here. If you wish, I'm reading them at the top, y'all. Y'all can't see it, and I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm just reading them, y'all. If you wish to bring us to our knees again, we are ready again, and we'll give you a crushing answer. Do not forget, we will delete you with your own weapons. The weapons that we have captured, the cruel regime, even with its bare hands, has seized many weapons from its neighbors. We will use them against you as well. But one of the guys said, let me see something. He said, in the damn Dahar there already we have funded this enemy long enough, and yes, they will delete us with our own weapons. They moved some back over the southern border into the U.S. good time. Okay, but this guy, he said that he said y'all don't have an Air Force, but the guy, I forgot where it was, y'all, but the other guy said, these guys have said that they have said they left planes and everything over there, jets and everything. They left everything. Billions of dollars of I was wondering how the pilot knows not that F-35, whatever that is, and B-2s with them bombers, right? So they left these things over there, getting out of there. So hey, let's go back over here to where This young lady here, what her name is, let me see. This is, okay, here we go. Let's go back over here.
Is out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our Arab friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end. I go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast to our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States.
Okay.
I say this.
It's unbelievably rich that this old queen sits there and talks about double dealing. And who knew he was such a fucking narcissist on top of
Damn, she called him a queen, y'all.
all of the other shit with this guy. I've been telling the Middle East this. I've tried to help you. Do you think that when you go over there that you carry a big stick, Lindsay? You're a laughing stock. Everybody with Wi-Fi service has Googled Lindsey Graham ladybugs. And we all know that the DC escorts that you pay to do gay stuff with have reported that you have all these little moles.
That's why she called him that. Hey, man, the word is on to these people, man. Everybody know these men, you know what?
All over your rectum, and that you refer to them, don't mind those are just my ladybugs. So you think that you can just run around the world and pretend that you're some straight, tough guy, and that Spain and that these Middle Eastern countries are going to take you seriously? Are you serious? Like, the delusion is just
Y'all don't realize the magnitude of these other countries and all of the things that they have more of the Epstein files than we have. They have more than what we have. And they have shown them to everyone. Everyone is aware of this thing. This is why the world hates America, because they have seen what? That your little eyes would never believe that they have seen. And look how she's calling them out. She called them a queen and everything. She's calling them out.
Believable. And this is what I think. Every single journalist, everywhere, every human being, if you're on a plane, if you're in an airport, if you're walking down the street, if you're near Washington, D.C., just drop by Congress and say this to Lindsey Graham. Everybody, unanimously around the globe, especially the people in Spain. I'm calling on the citizens of Spain to say this to Lady Graham every time you see him. Play the clip.
Hey, Lindsay, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
Yeah, Lindsay. Why don't you admit that you're gay so people won't blackmail you anymore? Why don't you quit double dealing and acting like...
That's what's going on with Trump, y'all. This is what's going on with all these politicians, all these people, actors, all these rappers, these singers. This is all of them. All of them being blackmailed. All of them, especially these politicians. Let's run that back again. Let's run that back.
Every time you see him, play the clip.
Hey, Lindsay, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
Yeah, Lindsay. Why don't you admit that you're gay so people won't blackmail you anymore? Why don't you quit double dealing and acting like you're this big MAGA Christian during the day that's all for family values, and then fetishize with your ladybugs at night? You diabolical DL fucking disgrace hypocrite. I've had it from top to bottom with this DL demon queen. And speaking of DL demon queens, I want to end this with little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson. This little prick has the audacity to stand here at this press conference because one of his congressmen in the House constantly is tweeting the most vile Islamophobic shit on the planet. and it's Randy Fine. And recently, I'm paraphrasing here, it was something like, America shouldn't have Muslims in the country. Something that's just so diabolically Islamophobic and bigoted and racist. So they asked Little Grinder about this, and this is what he says.
Little Grinder.
Look, I've spoken to those members and all members, as I always do, about our tone and our message and what we say. There's a lot of energy in the country and a lot of popular sentiment that the demand to impose Sharia law in America is a serious problem.
Okay, stop. That is a fucking lie. It is such a lie. Nobody in America wants to institute Sharia law. The radical religion.
Man, these white women, man, these white women is against these white men, these politicians over here, man. They going in on them.
It's just nuts.
She literally calling them all the way out. This is something that's unheard. Listen, their skirts has been lifted, y'all. Literally, their skirts have been lifted.
That drive us crazy, that we're terrified of, are you and Lady Graham and Josh Hawley, who fist pumps and says he's a Christian nationalist. J.D. Vance, all of these nuts. It's you, Pete Hegseth, who thinks rapture prepping and all of this stuff. Ted Cruz, it's another one that scares the shit out of us. Nobody thinks for a second that people want to institute Sharia law in this country. It's just insane. It is Islamophobia, and it tells you everything you need to know. These guys are losing the Iranian war, and they're losing the propaganda war, where everybody just says, oh, we're all supposed to worship Israel. And what Israel, not Jewish people, but the Israel government does, with an assist from the ADL, is they want to demonize all Arabs, every single one of them, all 1 billion plus, as the exact same type of person. And it's just simply not.
All right, y'all. Let's go back over here, right? I watched one earlier concerning what was that? Trump gets dog. Look it up. I ain't gonna go to it because I think it's like 18 minutes. Trump gets dog walked by not a Jew. Not a Jew. I've been saying not a Jew so long. That's his name. But hey, he just dogged Trump by, and Trump just looked like an old sick puppy, y'all. He own him. Hold up, where was I going? Okay, back. Okay, here. Iran launches new. No, I think I seen that right here, y'all. I'm sorry, right here. Iran wants to keep fighting as Trump panics.
Full larger attack force, the United States and Israel. And there's no doubt they have massive military superiority. And, the so-called war secretary, Pete Hegseth, loves to get up every day like a drinking buddy, bragging about his exploits from the last weekend and talk about everything that they're bombing and how they're decimating Iran. And they're trying to convince the public that just by showing cool stuff blowing up, that somehow that means that the United States and Israel are decisively winning this war. But the reality is that for the less powerful military force to achieve quote-unquote victory, they don't have to win militarily. They have to elevate the costs to such a degree that the stronger attacking party decides that it's not worth it anymore. But it's not just that, and this is what we're hearing from Iranian officials. Iran doesn't just want to stop the military onslaught by Israel and the United States. Iran wants to keep fighting so that the entire world, including the United States, understands that if you think you can do this to Iran every 4 months, pretend you're negotiating and then do, surprise attacks, that you have another thing coming. And so that's why the Iranians now, in response to Trump making threats about the Strait of Hormuz, have started to be more aggressive. IRGC naval vessels, Trump said that their entire Navy was wiped out. Well, we now understand that the IRGC Navy is giving warnings to ships, and if they don't heed them, they're stopping or attacking those ships. So what we're seeing here is that the Iranians are not just trying...
That was earlier when you seen them blowing them boats. Trump said he blew up, 16? Blew up their whole fleet. Lies. This is what they do. They lie, y'all. But them ships ain't coming through. If you blew everything up, why ain't no ships coming through? Why oil prices are still going up? Because he's lying.
To inflict damage or continue to strike in Tel Aviv and elsewhere in Israel, or to continue to strike U.S. military bases in the region, they're also saying, we're not interested in a ceasefire on Trump's terms, and we think that they dramatically underestimated Iran's will to fight, overestimated the potential for a domestic uprising, and dramatically underestimated Iran's weapons capacity. The Iranians are going into what they call a second phase of this war. They feel they have softened U.S. defenses in the region, so they don't need to fire as many rockets, and that they can continue to do damage with more powerful ballistic missiles, but with less frequent or less intense attacks.
And obviously the calculus of sharing intelligence that led to the killing of Khamenei with Israel was that you would decimate the command structure. I mean, we've heard people talking about this in the government right now, and thus create a mess and a power vacuum that's easier for the Kurds or whomever else to Reza Pahlavi to step into and change the regime or alter the regime, as they discovered they could do with Delcy Rodriguez in Venezuela. So, Jeremy, what is the command structure like right now in terms of you're having these conversations with officials about how they see their strategy?
Sure.
Did the United States severely...
No, the United States has not fought a modern nation state since really the end of World War II or the Korean War. And so I think there was a radical underestimation of how solid Iran's bureaucratic structure is, both on a civilian level and a military level. I mean, this is a government that has been building horizontal institutions since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And in fact, we reported even before the bombs started hitting on February 28th, for weeks ahead of this, we were saying that the Iranians were very clear that they expected decapitation strikes. They expected that there would be an attempt that was likely to succeed in assassinating the supreme leader and the rest of the country's official top leadership. And so they created what they called the Mosaic defense system.
This show did say that. Even their supreme leader said it himself, that he might not live, that he might get, that they might get him. And they did. So they was already expecting that. So he's not lying.
So in advance of the United States attacking Emily, what Iran did was they started to delegate further down the chain of command authority to launch attacks. And they had a predetermined bank of targets throughout the Persian Gulf and in Israel that if the United States and Israel attacked, they would be activated. And so what I'm told by Iranian officials who have access to the planning process in Iran is that in those first 72 hours or so after the U.S. and Israel began attacking, things were essentially on autopilot when it came to the IRGC's aerospace division, which is overseeing the launching of ballistic missiles and attack drones, of which Iran has many because they have their own domestic industry. And then once there was a sort of clearing of the dust that the reality was a full-scale existential war was on, that's how Iran saw it, they started to then return to a more centralized strategic operation, and that allowed them to sort of call audibles, I guess you could say. They would assess the damage that was being done in places like Kuwait, in Qatar, in the United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia. They knocked out...
All right, y'all want to get... Somebody want to get down here. Y'all bear with me. Here we go. Okay, I want to get right here.
Repeatedly. To the question of the Gulf states, I want to ask you about your other piece that you had recently. We can put up what is this C2. This goes to the question too. So you're reporting publicly, and the U.S. government is welcome to read the article or not if they want to have any idea what's going on. Is that Iran weighs tactical shift in Persian Gulf strikes while intensifying attacks on Israel. So you reported here that the Iranian assessment was that they had done that in some ways. I don't want to put words in their mouth. Mission was accomplished in a lot of these Gulf states, that they had sufficiently deterred and degraded the U.S. capacity there, but that there were two Gulf countries where that assessment was not met, and they were going to continue hitting them. But otherwise, they were going to back off some of these Gulf countries and focus more on kind of pummeling Israel and on restricting traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Since you reported that, what have you seen kind of unfold, and is there anything you can add?
See how careful he's trying to be with his word concerning what's going on in Israel, what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, what's going on with... He just being cautious because he can only say so much. He can't tell the truth. He can't go in great detail concerning what's really going on.
To that from your sources since then.
You know, the other day also the Iranian foreign minister retweeted a CENTCOM picture showing missiles being launched from the desert of one of those countries. And he said, thank you for confirming that you are using the territory of some of these countries that claim that they weren't going to allow their territory to be used. We've seen a pretty substantial decrease, though, in the number and volume of strikes that have been unleashed against the Persian Gulf. Yes, they're still happening, particularly in Bahrain, which I had guessed was one of the countries that the Iranians were referring to when they told me that. It's the headquarters of the Fifth Fleet. And is, you know, one of the main countries whose infrastructure is being used to launch these attacks from, both its coastal waters and its territory. And you do still see some strikes happening, but, you know, my sense from speaking to Iranian officials is that they feel that they've sent a message, that they've softened it, that they're going to require the U.S. to replenish its interceptors. In fact, we saw images yesterday of the U.S. actually moving some of its defensive missile capacity away from South Korea to try to transfer it to the Middle East to try to make up for the damage that the Iranians had done. I think also there is a propaganda component to this in the information.
Shit, South Korea getting ready to enter the war. You might want to leave them now. You might want to leave them now, baby, because they're getting ready to enter that war. Let's go right here.
Into some updates here, Jeremy. We can put this next piece of video up on the screen. This is C3. IDF says it eliminated Hezbollah commander in an airstrike on the town of in southern Lebanon. And he had already taken command after his predecessor was killed in 2024, according to the military. This is what open source intel posted on X. Also, we have video here that DropSite posted. This is from the Iranian side. This is our next element we can put up on the screen. This is video released by Iranian media of missiles being launched during the 36th wave of Operation True Promise 4. DropSite writes, Iran once again warned that U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iranian infrastructure and civilians, quote, will not go unanswered. Now their days and nights are limited to siren sounds, fleeing, and shelters. We will not let them go. So, Jeremy, all of this in, roughly the last 24 hours, what does this tell us about as we're starting to see chatter from Republicans about just, going on the ship, doing the mission accomplished banner, more like an Arrested Development sketch?
All right, y'all. I think I want one more little section here. I think it's gone, though. So, hey, Trump trying to get, they got the people, hit them people oil, got oil, black oil raining on everybody's head in Iran, and they want asking for what? For a ceasefire. Shit. Okay. Where that? Here we go right here. Here we go right here, y'all. Look at this here. Damn. It's gone. Thought I had it. It's gone, y'all. It's gone. Okay, it's gone. So let me just delete that. So, I'm going to leave it there. Let's go into, I'm going to say this here, right? I know I'm a little bit everywhere, but the main focus was on the Israel, the Israelis, small hatters, should I say, on them and Trump, panicking and wanting them to what? To cease fire when it's not going to. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Alright. These damn small headers, right? They want to be us so bad, right? But how about them feeling our likeness, meaning our judgment? Because this is what you are seeing at this present moment. Let me see something. Zephaniah. I ain't gonna read it, ain't gonna hold out. Zephaniah, I think that's 1. Y'all bear with me. 1 in verse 1 and 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, meaning what? The angels, and punish the men that are settled on their leads, meaning their lead goes into at ease, not disturbed, or worried about anything, right? Leads. That what? That say in their heart, the Lord Yahweh would not do what? Do good, neither will he what? He do evil. Therefore their goods shall be what? Come what? A booty, meaning possession. This is what you're seeing at this present moment when you seeing what? Afghanistan what? Having their equipment. But soon the Lord is going to give what? Going to give all these Edomites and the other nations into the hands of who? The Israelites. But right now we'll focus on what? On the Israelis, the small hatters. Therefore their goods shall what? Shall become a booty, meaning possession, in their houses a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. Verse 14, which is where I get. The great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. But it's on a standstill and a pause until what? Until a certain time of what? Of you all being tried, and choosing, because a lot of you all gonna choose the beast in his system. Y'all gonna choose the beast, right? You're gonna choose the MOTB, so you're gonna choose the beast. So therefore, you're gonna be justified in your judgment. The Heavenly Father, the Scriptures, does not lie. I gotta finish it very quick. The great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh, the mighty men, meaning Esau, Edom, and their armies that will what? That come against Yahweh Shai and the angels shall cry bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, right? A day of trouble and distress. A day of wastedness and what? And desolation, meaning what? Nuclear destruction. You know Bibi is what? Talking about using nuclear weapons. Because they are getting pounded so bad. A day of darkness and gloominess, which is fire. A day of clouds and what? And thick darkness. A day of what? Of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and what? Against the high towers. What's that? Amos 3 and 6. Say a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid. Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? Everything you see is what? Is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah judgment, man, on these devils. Huh? We're getting ready to turn what? To turn that page. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have what? Sinned against the Lord Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord Yahweh's wrath. No one wants money. They want what? They want blood now. But what? But the whole land be devoured by fire. That's a miracle. And Israel's going to get it, but America is going to get it worse than what? Worse than Israel. Devoured by fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a what? A speedy radiance. And that radiance goes into getting rid of a troublesome person. But that was let me read let me go to Zechariah. I was gonna read a little more, y'all, but I got this thing him from acting up on me. Zechariah, I'm gonna go to Zechariah 14. Zechariah, y'all bear with me. Zechariah 14 and 12. I'm gonna end it here. I can't go. I want to go a little further and talk and go into a little more detail concerning the land and concerning Israel. They for to be the people. Why there's endless wars. They still what? It's still what being endless wars in the land of Jerusalem is there the people. Verse 14 and 12, Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be what the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon what their feet. And their eyes shall consume away in holes, and their tongue shall what consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the what the Lord Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold everyone on the land of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the land of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver. There's going into slavery, right? Silver and apparel in what? In a great abundance. And so shall be the plagues, the nuclear missiles, of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of the beasts shall be in the tents, these tents, and in their as this plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacle. So, you are going to, just like we were forced to serve everybody around calling on Jesus, right? We're forced to serve your God. You're going to be forced to serve the true and living God of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. I'm going to close it out right here, y'all. I can't go any further. This camera about to run out on me. So I'll finish it up. Start here a little later on in the day. So I'm going to say, call Halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah by Hashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.